Suzanne's paparazzi.
Hey, hello. Welcome to our second edition of the 2023 On Deck season. I am joined by my backstop, the Molina of C2C. Crispy Bacon, how you doing, bud?
Doing good. This week is opening day or opening week, so baseball
Yep.
season is just around the corner.
Yep, and below us, we got the man halfway around the world, the rookie that's coming up in the ranks for C2C. Tim Hendricks, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Excited for the national holiday that is considered opening day. I think I'm actually happy that they're going to do everybody this year instead of just a select few. I think it's a great idea, and I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm all ready for this. And we get the stupid Cubs.
I think they've always done that. It's just there's been rain delayed, but I think they've done
that. They would have like Thursday. They would have like a handful of games. Then those guys would be off. Then Friday would have another handful of games. But I'm with Tim. Everybody's playing. Another thing I like about the schedule is you're playing everybody. You're not just going out to the west or your east. You're playing everybody. So Tim, what do you think about that change?
I like it. Think about it. Every other sport, every other major pro sport in North America plays everybody. No, they still play.
Well, they play everybody every so often, but they don't. They don't play them every year like basketball and hockey.
Right.
And I think some of them in baseball do the same thing.
Yeah, and now you're gonna be able to face everybody and everything. It's nice. I like it.
No, I do. Chris, what about you? I know you're the youngster of the group.
Yeah.
But, you're not. You're with interleague play, so interleague play's been around your whole lifetime. But what do you think about now? You get to see everybody. Texas goes against the Padres, can go against St. Louis, can go. All these different teams will come into Texas. So.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see everybody. Both leagues and all of the teams for most of the teams. I think there's probably still some things to work out with the scheduling, but I'm sure they're going to work that out down the road.
Yeah. Now, Tim, I mean, like I said, Chris has been around interleague play. Me and you are a little bit older. Do you think interleague play is kind of taking the luster out of the All-Star game? Because that was the only time you got to see all the superstars. Now you get to see them all the time.
No. Okay. No, I don't think it takes the luster off. It's the fact is now you get to see. We'll go with last year. You get to see Pujols line up in a lineup with Yelich and players of those calibers, where you get to see all of them, see how a super team, which will never happen in Major League Baseball, even though the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Dodgers try. But you get to see some of the stars play with each other on the same team as each other. So I really enjoy the All-Star game, and it's still kind of a showcase instead of where it's just you get maybe 3 innings out of a player so they don't go out and kill themselves or kill their chances for their teams. I think I still like the All-Star game as much as actually I really enjoy interleague play. To me, interleague play is amazing. I've loved it since day one.
I do too, because the fact that you get to that. I mean, they don't play too many interleague plays towards the end of the year because they want it more about the American League, National League. But I mean, if they schedule it, it'd be like, okay, last week of the season, the Dodgers could play a factor into what happens in the Central, AL Central, if they beat this team and this team. So let's get into this upcoming week. Chris sent me the pitching matchups. Actually, first let's get into the big guns that kind of left their teams and moved to new teams. So let's start with Trey Turner. 11 years, $300 million goes from the Dodgers to Philly. Tim, what's your thoughts on that trade?
I think it's good. I think he's again it's the Phillies, so he may be chasing another ring,
Yep.
but he's gonna do it with somebody else. But it is what's didn't he get hurt in a spring training game?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he got a little.
Or how long he's out, but it's 162 games, so it could be nothing. But I think that's nothing but a positive for Trey Turner and the Phillies, which will really give Atlanta and the Mets a real run for their money, if not Miami.
Yep.
And
Chris, how about you?
and
go ahead.
Bacon's Nationals, Bacon taking the Nationals. last
Chris,
year.
what do you think about that Trey Turner getting some big bucks from Philly?
First, why we're in the wrong profession. I'm just playing.
Yeah,
I'm playing. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, all these moves are going to be interesting to see how it plays out for the season.
yeah. Well, Trey Turner brings that bat that Harper's going to leave behind because Harper's on the deal for, I think it's All-Star break or somewhere around there. So we got Bogarts going from Boston to San Diego, another 11-year deal, $280 million. So he took a little bit of less money than Turner did, but he goes to that big lineup in San Diego. So Chris, adding that bat to San Diego, what's that help them?
That does help. I guess you could say it's not the quarterback position, but I think it's an important position. Batting is helpful.
Yep. Tim, how about you?
With that lineup and with Xander Bogaerts going to San Diego, it just what it does is it gives protection in the batting order. So you can't intentionally walk the guy right before Bogarts. You can't intentionally walk Bogarts because then you could be looking at Soto, or you can't intentionally walk Soto because then you've got Machado. You can't do that. I think you've just basically just added another howitzer to an army. And Bogarts is an amazing asset for that team. And I think we said last week, if San Diego doesn't win the World Series or go to the World Series, they've failed.
Yep.
And Bogart's a reason.
Yep. No, exactly. San Diego last year stocked up. Didn't do it. They stock up again this year. I hope they do it. But yeah, that's like Tim said. You can't walk this guy because you face this guy. You can't walk this guy. There's not piece of that lineup, kind of like the Yankees back in the mid '90s. I think they had that kind of. Even now, they kind of got a dangerous lineup still. So let's go with Darby Swanson, our beloved Ace's favorite Atlanta Brave at the beginning of the year last year. He goes from Atlanta to Chicago. 7 years, $177 million. I mean, another guy that took a little less money to go somewhere else.
That was less money.
Yeah,
that was exactly. No, Darby's with the Cubs, right?
Yeah, he went to the Cubs. Did I say the wrong team?
No. You just said Chicago.
Yeah, he went to the Cubs.
Yeah, I think that's a bad idea. To Darby, I think Darby made a bad mistake. I think the Cubs aren't be contenders for the playoffs this year, and you leave an Atlanta team that's going to be. I think you made a huge mistake. And I hope I'm eating my words. No, because it's the Cubs, so I'm not. I hope I don't eat my words. But yeah, I think that was a huge mistake.
Chris?
No, it was a huge mistake. Braves are going to lose a key player on their team, and now Chicago's, the Cubs are probably going to improve just a little bit, but it's kind of hard to tell early on.
Yeah, I agree. Darby had pretty much his selection of teams, and it's one of those questions on why Cubs. I mean, maybe he was a fan of them. Maybe he wanted to go play Wrigley more often. I don't know. I mean, because Cubs have been rebuilding since their fire sale when they won the World Series 2015, 16, somewhere around there.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. That kind of scratched my head on that one. Who else? Well, let's go with the Cubs catcher. I mean, he's Wilson Contreras has some big shoes to fill because he goes to St. Louis for 5 years, 87 million total year. So, Tim, I know you're not a Cardinals fan, but how does this help the Cardinals?
You got you put Contreras in the behind the plate. He's a serviceable catcher. Yeah, we're talking about replacing a legend with Contreras. When we've got his brother that we got in Milwaukee. But I like Contreras. I think he calls good games, calls great games. It might be a really good move for St. Louis to have Contreras. I think it's a wise idea that they replaced Molina with Contreras.
Chris, how about you?
It will be interesting. I'm not quite sure, but anytime you move to another team, it's going to be difficult for the team you just left.
Well, and that's the thing is Contreras is filling the shoes of Molina, who's seems like he's been in St. Louis forever. Which I mean, career-wise he has, but it seems like every time you talk St. Louis, it's like, God, Contreras is still there. I mean, so I know if St. Louis starts off, let's say below 500 the first couple of weeks, they're going to look at Contreras' numbers and how he's calling games compared to what Molina did last year or the year before. So I hope for, sorry, Tim, a decent start from this Cardinals to start off with so we don't get those comparisons. And then a couple more players I want to touch on. Jose Abreu goes from the White Sox to Houston, Chris. Kind of down there. Only a 3-year deal, 58, but that's a big bad Houston added. So what do you think there?
Yeah, I know he was good with the White Sox, and I know he's going to be really good for Houston. Going to be a tough team this year in the division, but hopefully things will be better off this year than they were last year. They were good at the beginning, but I don't know. We'll just see.
All right, Tim. How about you, Abreu? To the Houston?
I honestly didn't think Abreu was going to leave Chicago. I thought that was when I saw that go across on Sports Center. I was like, "You're kidding me!" How did the White Sox let that man out of the building? But he went to Houston, who's just like the San Diego Padres, just reloading. I think Abreu was going for a ring. You'd be stupid to look at it and think that he didn't go for a ring. But then again, I know I'm going to get this. I'm going to get a lot of this. You play the Major League Baseball to win a ring. I get that. But yeah, it's a big bat. It's a huge bat in that lineup.
Yeah, that
you play in any sport for a ring.
Yeah, and you're right. That's a huge bet that I'm surprised the White Sox let go. Let him walk. I mean, I'm happy, but as a Twins fan, but I mean, still, Twins didn't do nothing to counteract it. So, we brought in Joey Gallo. Woo!
You're welcome.
Yeah. So we got a couple pitches to talk about. Justin Verlander goes from Houston to the Mets for a 2-year deal, $86 million. Chris, what do you think of Verlander? I mean, you got to see him a little bit down there in Houston.
Yeah, Verlander's really good. That's going to be a key loss for Houston. I'm not sure if it's going to do any harm, though, to Houston, sadly, but it's only the start of the season, and no games have been played, so.
Yep, exactly. All right, Tim. Verlander to the Mets.
That was another one that confused me. I didn't really expect him to go to the Mets. I legitimately thought he was going to the Dodgers. When he came out, I don't think it. Like Bacon says, I don't think it hurts the Astros as much as the AL West would like it to. But I don't think it. I think it's a mediocre step up for the Mets. Because they've done a lot. They're in a dogfight in the NL East, so I don't envy the Mets, but you're getting paid $40 million a year. I don't really
Yeah.
argue at that point.
Yeah, definitely Verlander leaving Houston kind of shocked me, but again, it could have went to the Braves, could have went to the Dodgers. I mean, you pick the Mets, not a bad team. I mean, they're going to start off hot, and then hopefully, for Met fans' sakes, they don't falter at the end of
Yeah.
the year. And then another pitcher we're going to talk about, Chris's guy signs a 5-year deal. DeGrom goes from the Mets to Texas. So, Tim, I know we've said it before. DeGrom is probably lights out when he's healthy, but what's this going to do for Texas?
I think it bolsters the pitching staff. The thing is, you need him to stay healthy. I think if you have him on an innings count, I think you need to subtract it by an inning. I truthfully think you can get 6 good innings out of DeGrom as long as he stays healthy. I think the pitching staff should be ready to come in the 6th, 7th inning and play a little relief just to keep DeGrom healthy. I hope he plays more than 20 games. I think we had it picked last week that we were thinking 15 to 16 for DeGrom.
That's what he's been averaging the last few years since his injury bugs have been kicking.
I think you need to really keep him on a pitch count, or a deep pitch count, not a shallow deep count, pitch count. He needs a smaller pitch count. Other than that, I think it's he still brings a good arm when he's healthy. That's the problem. He needs to be healthy.
Yep, Chris, how about you? You guys get a guy that when healthy is going to be your ace. What do you expect? What's Dallas down there, Texas thinking with DeGrom? What have you been hearing?
Everybody's excited to see DeGrom. That's probably going to be the hottest sports ticket on that day. If there's anything else going on, it probably won't be many fans at that other games. It's going to be interesting too with the pitch clock, because if it goes quicker than what it normally is, you could probably stay out there a little bit longer. But I do agree, maybe a pitch count of some kind, and get him healthy.
Yeah, DeGrom to me, I agree with the innings count, pitch count. Don't let him, especially at the beginning of the year, let him get healthy again. That's why I always thought maybe moving him to the bullpen for, long relief or a spot start here there would probably help him. But again, we're sitting here talking sports. That's why we're not making the big decisions. One last guy, just looking at the list here, Corey Bellinger goes from the Dodgers to the Cardinals on a 1-year deal. To me, that's kind of like, okay, I want to show what I could do outside of the Dodgers. So, Tim, what do you think of that deal for Bellinger?
I think you hit on something right there. I think everybody looked at Cody Bellinger going, this was my team. I want to be able, but I had a whole group, and I think he's trying to showcase him. I wish he hadn't gone to St. Louis. I really didn't want to see him in St. Louis.
No, he went to the Cubs.
Oh, he went to even worse.
Yeah.
So, because I thought you said St. Louis, that's my fault.
No.
I'm cleaning too many floors at the Firefly Funhouse. So, it's I really wish he went to the American League. I don't really need to see that guy. I don't know. I think he's trying to replace Chris Bryant.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen. I hate to say it, but yeah.
So, Chris, Bellinger to the Cubs for a 1-year deal, kind of let me showcase what I could do for a multi-year deal, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, here I'm going to show you what I'm worth, kind of thing. We've seen a lot of athletes do that in other sports. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But it's kind of worrisome too, because if that player does get injured for a long period of time, I mean, it's no damage to the team, but financially, but it could be worrisome for your season.
Yeah. For me, I take it as a 1-year deal, because everybody in his caliber, big names, are getting multi-year deals, and he got 1-year deals. So unless people didn't like what he did, or they're like, okay, you played the Dodgers, let's see what you can do. So Chicago might be the decent spot for him to do that because outside of him and him, I don't think there's much more there in Chicago. So, couple guys, let's talk about that stayed. Diaz, of course, stayed with the Mets, who's going to be out for the year because of his injury in the baseball classic. So, I think we'll talk more about him later on to see how his rehab's coming. Correa had a fun offseason, signed with three different teams. Ended up back with Minnesota. So, Chris, I know we kind of talked about this on other shows, but what do you think about the Correa signing?
Well, which signing are we talking?
Well, the saga. Let's talk them all.
No, it was a crazy offseason for him. The team he's with now, or whoever team he was with, I think it's going to be helpful.
Yeah.
So.
He's back with Minnesota because he signed with the Mets and
the Mets.
And who's the
Mets. Toronto.
No, it wasn't Toronto. It was another National League team. Was it Dodgers and the Mets?
Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah. So, Tim, the saga of Carlos Correa. I mean,
well, the Carlos Correa, the Minnesota Carlos Correas. It was weird. It would almost seem like it was the precursor to Aaron Rodgers at this point. Yep. I thought it was crazy. Every time I seem to turn on Sports Center, I get Sports Center because I illegally get it, or get notifications on my phone. It was like Carlos Correa here, Carlos Correa there, Carlos Correa this, Carlos Correa that. I'm like, wow, I've never seen a soap opera like Carlos Correa. And then to go back to Minnesota, which I don't think he should have ever left, to be honest. I hope that doesn't hurt the morale in the locker room, but I don't really know. It's still a good bat. It's a veteran. It can only be positive for Carlos because he's gonna need it to be at this point.
Yeah.
And the thing was, it was San Fran. Now that I remember, because I think San Fran and at one moment, I think San Fran both was linked to Correa and Judd. So, Correa signs there, then signs with the Mets. Both of them opt out. He comes back to Minnesota. Yeah, he shouldn't have left, but I think the ownership kind of got worried. Maybe called his bluff because he made a comment that, if you go shopping, if you want something, you're going to pay for it. So I'm like a commodity. If they want me, they're going to pay for it. And I think that kind of backfired a little bit. I mean, I'm glad he's back. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, because it came down to an injury back in 2015 that voided those other contracts. I don't know if the Twins are looking at it or if they're okay with it. Their doctors are, but I think MLB needs to kind of look at that and be like, okay, we need to go to one facility here to get all our physicals done before you sign contracts like that, so everybody has the same records and stuff like that. So I don't know. It was kind of a great different saga. And then of course the big guy, Aaron Judge, 9-year deal, stays in New York. After a quick visit in San Fran, everybody started buying Giants jerseys with Judge on there, and then comes out he didn't sign. So Tim, Judge going back to the evil empire. What do you think?
I didn't buy the fact that I don't buy the fact he was leaving New York. I don't think he ever thought he was leaving New York. I think he did his due diligence like any good free agent should. But I truthfully think that Judge staying in New York is huge. It keeps the bat at home. I think it's scary because Judge is going to be hitting in that ballpark again. Yeah. And that's the thing that scares everybody.
Yeah, we'll get more into Judge here a little bit later. Chris, Judge back in New York.
Yeah, I don't know if Ranger fans will like that, considering he did get his record-setting home run in our stadium. But, I mean, he's a really good player. They found a good player after I can't remember who. Yankees had a lot of good players.
Oh yeah, they've had a lot.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I mean, he comes from the minor league, so it's not like they signed him, they traded for him to get him. They brought him up. Well, 1+ for Yankees, but yeah, Judge going back there. I had no doubt that he was going back to New York. San Fran, I know that's where he's from. Grew up being a Giants fan. So yeah, that was like Tim said, he did his due diligence to go meet with them. But I think he's gonna be one of those players. We're gonna hate him, but I think he's gonna be one of those loyal players that I got my call with these guys. I'm sticking with them for the most part of my career. I mean, I could probably see him leaving for a couple years and then going back and finish his career in New York.
Kind of like a Pujols.
Yeah. Pujols and Judge. Everybody loved Pujols all year. Every day he played. Yeah, unless you're a Yankee fan, you're going to hate Judd because of what he could do, but you can respect his talent and his loyalty and stuff. So, granted,
but I think
I would love him in a Twins uniform. I know, Brewers would have loved him. The Rangers would have loved him. I mean, every team would love to have that bat. So as Chris said, opening day.
And I think with those star players, it's like
what's that? What would you say, Chris?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to say with those kind of players, it's with those kind of players, it's like a love-hate relationship. You like them, but
in
a way you don't.
All right, so let's start in. Oh, they just have opening day because again. So the first game that kicks off, it looks like. Actually, I don't know. They're kind of all scattered here. So we got the Blue Jays versus St. Louis. Opening day starter is going to be Alex Manda versus Miles Mikolas, Mikolas. The matchup, I'm going to say that one because I think that's going to be the matchup of the night. Ohtani versus Muller, the Angels versus the A's. That should be a walk in the park for the Angels. Bieber versus Castillo, the Guardians versus the Mariners. I can't stand that name. The Twins are starting some guy named Pablo Lopez. I think that's the guy we got from the Rays. I think. Now that I think about it, he'll line up against Zach Greinke back in Kansas City. Dylan Chase versus Pablo Valdez. So you got the White Sox versus the Astros there. You got Zach Gallen for the Diamondbacks for going against the Dodgers. Julio Urias. That's going to be a good matchup there. Then we got Mac Fry versus Patrick Corbin. Braves versus Chris's Washington team. That's over the World Series.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Gibson for the Orioles versus Corey Kluber of Boston. He's over in Boston now. Nice.
Yeah.
Eder Rodriguez for the Tigers will face off against Shane McCallaghan for the Diamondbacks. Mitch Keller will face Hunter Green, Pittsburgh versus Cincinnati. That game's going to be a dud.
Yep.
Probably the big matchup outside the pitching matchup. You got San Fran versus the Yankees. You got Webb versus Cole. That might be a decent matchup. The Brewers versus the Cubs, the hated Cubs. Corbin Burns versus Marcus Stroman.
That's going to be – I'm going to tell you that's going to be a good pitching matchup.
Yeah. I got another pitching matchup. I think that's going to top that one. Philly versus Texas. You got Nolan versus DeGrom. That could be a decent matchup.
That's going to be a good game.
And then you got Colorado versus San Diego.
Where is it at? Is it in Colorado?
No, it's in San Diego. Marquez versus Blake Shell. But the matchup I passed up on because I think this is going to be the matchup of week one or opening day. is Mets versus the Marlins. Matt Scherzer versus Sandy
oh God, Alcantara.
Alcatraz. I
Alcantara.
can't pronounce it, but he's like 22, I think.
Sandy Alcantara. He's last year's Cy Young Award
I
winner.
think that's gonna be the matchup.
That's gonna be the
pitching
good
matchup.
night.
Definitely, everybody's gonna be watching. So, Chris, your opening day, Texas.
Yep.
What do you think?
It's going to be interesting. It's a, I don't know, mid-afternoon game.
Yep, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Against Philly, the World Series champs.
It should be an interesting, I guess, game because I don't know how many fans will be in attendance. Probably a lot.
That's cut day. Come on, Chris.
I know.
That's cut day at school. You got to go to opening day.
Yeah,
that's true. That is true. But I think it's going to be a good game. We'll see what happens with the World Series champs and hope for the best.
All right. Brewers versus the Cubs. Tim?
We've got our ace on the mound. Corbin Burns is the kid's going to be. I'm telling you, watch this kid. This kid's Cy Young potential. Stroman is probably the only pitcher that they've got that's actually decent. I'll be honest. Stroman could have won a Cy Young when he was with the Blue Jays. He's good. The pitching is probably the only thing that's going to be really good in that game. I think we've got a lineup that can work. It's just we have to get to him early. You get to Stroman early, he has a tendency to throw up give me's. So we really need to get onto Stroman quick.
Yeah. So for the Twins here, I just had them up here. Pablo Lopez, we got in a trade. I was going to look at from the Marlins, I think it was. Yeah, the Marlins. I forgot who we sent over there. Last year he was 10-10, 32 starts, 32 games, no complete games, no saves, 180 innings. There goes, you start 32 games. I mean, that's to me, that's your 3, 4, 5 starter. Get 180 innings. That's to me not your workhorse. Gave up 21 long balls. His ERA was 3.75, so he's in the mix there. I don't know. I mean, maybe they don't think Maeda's healthy or Ryan's healthy enough, or Sonny Gray. I thought was going to start.
I thought Gray would have been a perfect opening day starter.
Yeah, so I don't know what the rotation looks like, but hey, Thursday starts the 162 game marathon. That goes by quick. I think it seems like we talk about 162, and then we're already midway through the season. Then we're talking about World Series. It's just like, really, 162 games? I mean,
yeah.
So let's get into some big talkers here. The big one I'm going to bring up is, what does Judge do for an encore? I mean, he hit what did he end up with? 62, 63 home runs?
I want to say
I think 62.
I think 62.
Okay. So what does he do, Chris, for an encore?
Sadly, 63 or 64.
He's gonna keep hitting it up there. Tim, what do you think Judge is gonna do? Is that new contract, the new home run chase? I mean, is that going to be a pressure for him, or what's he gonna do?
No, he's already dealt with pressure chasing Maris. I don't think the contract is going to be a big deal. I don't think he hits in the 60s. I think he hits mid 50s. I think he hits somewhere along the lines of 54 to 56. I think he's going to turn into Barry Bonds, not in that aspect, but I think they're going to make him into Barry Bonds, where they're going to walk him as many times as they possibly can. Basically, their version of Hack-a-Shack. I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to be mid 50s.
Yeah, I see the Barry Bonds effect happening, but where they bat him, I think is going to be a lot to do with the walks, because they don't bat him just 3 or 4. They bat him 1, they bat him 2.
Yeah.
They'll bat him 7. They'll bat him 8. Yeah, for a guy that's also, what is he, 6'7", 6'4", 6'7", to bat leadoff, play center field, play wherever you want. Tim, I'm with you. I think he's going to be mid-50s. I think he's going to start off hot, and I think that's when people are going to start walking him more. And then I think his home run to at-bat ratio is going to drop off. You know, it wouldn't shock me for the first month of the year we talk about him going after 70, but I think it'll chill out. But I'm with you. I think about mid-50s he will be. So let's get into a couple teams here that broke the 100 barrier last year to see. Let me see here. Sorry, guys. Thought I had the stats pulled up. I know the Braves and Mets tied at 101. Do we see them guys topping the 100 win mark again, Tim?
I don't. I don't because the East is so difficult. I think everybody's gunning for both the Braves and the Mets and the Phillies, and I think they come down. I think they're 94, 93 win. I think they're both 94, 93 win teams.
All right, Chris, how about you? Do you think the Mets and the Braves they had 100 wins there?
No, because he's got the Washington Nationals.
Oh, that's right. He's got the Nationals, so the Mets can't do it. That's right.
I mean, it could happen.
Upset everybody. So, you know, we're laughing now, but man, if
that's gonna hurt.
Yeah,
that's true. I mean,
that's like placing a $5 bet on Mississippi State winning the national championship.
I know, right? I saw that.
All right, so let's go to the Dodgers, who had 111 wins, and they're rebuilding. Chris, Dodgers, do they stick around that 100 win total?
No, probably not. No.
Tim?
Nope.
Yeah, I know.
You got San Diego and San Francisco just loving to pounce on that spot right now.
Yep. No, and Chris has. No, we all went San Diego. Okay, I was gonna say Chris went Colorado, but no, he went Kansas City in the. But yeah, no, I don't think they're gonna be at 100 wins. You know, mid 80s, low 90s. I think Padres are gonna be sitting in the mid 90s.
I think your 100 victory team is sitting with the Padres.
Ooh, okay.
Sure, it's not the Rangers.
The Rangers.
In the American League, we had just one team top 100, and that's the Astros at 106. Tim?
Yep.
They stick around there, or?
Oh yeah, I think they do.
Chris?
Maybe the Rangers. Who knows?
Yeah. I could see him hitting 100.
Yeah, I think the Astros are going to be there. Mariners, you know, we're only 10 back at 90 wins, so I can see them, you know, possibly pushing 100. You got the Guardians. I still hate that name. At 92 wins. And then you got the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Yankees had 99 wins. Blue Jays had 92 wins. Any of those guys pique your interest on going 100?
I don't remember who I took in the East.
The East, we took.
I think I took the Orioles.
You took the Blue Jays. Me and you took the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays are going to get close. I just don't think they're going to get there.
Yeah. I mean, with the bats there, I mean, the pitching, I mean, yeah, I took Toronto and Tampa to make the playoffs, but Yankees always scare me. I hope they fall off. Hopefully they're around 500. I like to see the Blue Jays and Rays get up there. Even Baltimore. Baltimore put a little scared a lot of teams last year. The Guardians, that central's so wide open. 500 might get you into the playoffs, but it ain't going to get you past the first round. So unless they make some moves. So
when you got Kansas City, who's going to be 500 and make the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris has got the Kansas City making 500 and make the playoffs. Yep, exactly. So, all right.
You never know.
Yeah, you're right. You never know.
That's
Baseball,
exactly.
that's one
I
thing
just
with
wouldn't place a
baseball.
bet on it.
Yeah. Chris, why don't you? I mean, sports betting is legal in Texas, ain't it? Go put a $5 bet on Washington and Kansas City to make the World Series.
Now, sadly, sports betting
$5
is
will,
not legal in Texas.
Oh, it's not
$5
legal?
will win you 85 grand. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. All right, guys. So let's see here. Let's I guess let's do it. Let's go into who do you think's gonna be the MVP? American League. Chris? Got an American League stand out there that you can see being MVP?
I don't. It's too early
Okay.
to tell, I think, for MVP.
Well, it's always
being
early to
on
tell. I
both.
mean, that's why it's always fun. I mean,
Maybe
so
Judge. I don't
okay,
know.
I think Judge is Chris's early favorite MVP. Tim, how about you?
The funny thing is, I had Judge too. I think Judge too at this point. Yeah, let's see. It's just weird. No, give me Abreu. Abreu over in Houston.
Oh, Tim's going with Abreu.
Even I just said it was probably a mistake that he went to Houston.
For me, man, Abreu, I like that one. Judge, of course, he's going to be up there. You know
take
what?
Take the long shot and go with the homer. Go with Correa.
Oh, Correa would. Yeah. See, I think the win. I mean, Correa could go on to have a judge type year and just blow everybody away, but I don't think he would win unless the Twins are in the playoff pennant. You know what? I'll go out there. I'll say Correa. Even though I think Bucks is would be a better candidate. Over in the NL, guys, Chris, who do you have in the NL for MVP?
It's tough.
I'm not
trying to remember
sure.
who's on the NL.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think. I'm not sure.
Tim, who do you have?
Oh, I'm just gonna do this just to rub it in the face of a colleague on a different channel, on a different network, and say Sean Murphy.
That honestly, I think there was a projections. I think fantasy, and I think Murphy and the other catcher the Braves have were both in the top 5 before the trade, and it's just like okay, they just went out and got themselves another catcher. So for me, you know what? If he stays healthy, I'm gonna go with Tatis Jr. If he stays healthy, I know he's got a few games to miss, but I think he'll make it up. So let's see here, Tim. Let's go Cy Young side in the AL.
In the AL,
I know that's a little harder to kind of predict, but who do you got in the AL, Tim?
I like Garrett Cole. I think he's already won one, so he knows how to do it. It's just, I think it'd be Garrett Cole.
Chris?
I'll go Garrett Cole. Why not?
All right, he's going Cole too. You know what? Until it's proven differently, I gotta go with the kid in Atlanta. Not Atlanta. Anaheim. Even though he'll probably get traded if they're not doing good, but Ohtani. I gotta go Ohtani. Over in the NL, Tim?
Oh boy. Gosh. Do I go Homer or do I go Homer or do I go Marlins? Oh man, because we got 2 that could possibly win it.
Yeah. We talked about that in C2C that you guys got a couple of good candidates there.
People would tell me to go with Corbin Burns, but I if I were to go Cy Young, I'd go Brandon Woodruff.
Ooh. Oh, Woodruff. All right. For
Not
the
bad.
Brewers. Okay. Chris, how about you?
For which league?
NL Cy Young.
I'll go Tim's. I'm not quite sure, but I'll go with Tim's pick.
All right, with the Burger Woodruff. Okay, I'm gonna go Marlon. When you said that, I was like, I got to go. So I'm going
Alcantara.
Alcantara.
Yeah.
That guy. Sorry, Derek. We're not picking any Mets because Mets are gonna falter.
Yep.
Even though DeGrom in the AL, if he's healthy, I mean that's going to give Cole a little run for his money there. Who's going to be our surprise team? Tim, your surprise team kind of pull a Baltimore Orioles on us that we don't think is going to do good.
So somebody we haven't picked. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Who's your surprise team?
Oh wow. Does it matter does it matter the league?
Nah, you can pick two if you want. I don't care.
Oh no, I don't want to pick two.
Yeah. Pick whatever one then.
Oh man. I'm torn between two. Because I'm torn between Colorado and Oakland.
Ooh.
I'll go Colorado.
Goes with the Rockies as a surprise team. Chris, your Baltimore Orioles of this year, the surprise team.
He's already got it. What are you talking about?
You do. You got two of them. You
He's
got the Nationals and the Royals.
Okay, we'll go there. I don't.
All right. Chris is taking the Nationals as his slash the Royals as his surprise team because he picked them to win the divisions this year. Tim, I'm with you. I was I could throw Pittsburgh in there.
Cincinnati.
I mean, of course, Boston is probably going to bounce back. They did finish last year. Cincinnati, I don't know. I don't have good feelings. But I said it in another show. I think it was Sports Minute. I'm going with the A's. I think the A's are going to have some fun this year because we all know they're going to Vegas. I think they're going to be the major league movie. You know, they can make a movie of this team where they're going to sit there and everybody's counting them out, but they're gonna have fun. I think they're gonna have a fun year, and I think they're gonna be. I ain't gonna say fighting for a playoff spot, but I think they're gonna surprise some people. I don't think they'll finish last. I don't think so. Anything else you guys want to cover? I was just looking. I did see that there was an injury in spring training. Philly.
My Prime 5.
Your Prime 5. Good thing, Tim. Good thing you. Yeah. Tim's Prime 5. Sorry about that. We got time. Good thing we didn't run on time. So, Tim, you're Prime 5.
I'm so glad I did homework today.
Yeah.
All right. So since next week is opening day, I thought let's put the top 5 teams with winning records on opening day.
Ooh, good one.
And and this proves the fact is that you can't win your division on day one.
Okay.
Number 5 is the Chicago Cubs. Point taken. They have a winning percentage of a .552, which means they're 80, 65, and 2. 2 ties. Remember, this was before they started playing night games, so they started calling tie because of darkness.
So is this over a certain span, or is this the whole?
Since their start.
Okay.
Since when they started.
Nice.
And I found out that the Baltimore Orioles were originally the Milwaukee Brewers in 1901.
Oh, okay.
And then went to St. Louis to become the Blues, or the St. Louis Browns, and then went to Baltimore to become the Orioles.
All right.
But number 4, I've got the New York Yankees with a winning percentage of a .563, 67, 52, and 1. So, okay, that really goes against you don't win the division in week 1.
Well, it's the Yankees, though. I mean,
right. Number 3, the Baltimore Orioles, the aforementioned Baltimore Orioles, have a winning percentage of a .592. They're 71, 49, and 1. Again, the proof that they don't win their division in week 1. Number 2 is the Seattle Mariners with a winning percentage of a .609.
Wow.
I know exactly. 28 and 18. But then again, they've only been around since what, 70, 74,
Yeah.
76, something
Yeah, but
like
still
that.
to rack up on opening day winning percentage. I mean,
It's not easy
Yeah.
to do.
no.
And this is probably the last time I'm ever going to be positive about the New York Mets. They're number one with a winning percentage of a 656. They're 40 and 21 on opening day.
All right. So you guys out there bet on the Mariners and the Mets to win opening day. Good thing they're not facing each other.
I know.
But well, with that being said, you guys got any topics you want to throw out there quick? We got a few minutes, Chris.
So, which would you like to win more, the World Baseball Classic or a World Series?
Ooh, that was a good tough question one. So,
Because there's been like a big debate.
there has been a big debate. You know, and I guess World Baseball Classic you could throw in because I think baseball's back in the Olympics. I think if not, I mean, so
It
you're
will be at some
representing your team, your country, or you're winning it for your fans, huh? Tim, what do you think?
I don't. This is along the lines of like the NBA players playing in the Olympics, and I've heard Michael Jordan, and I'm nobody on the team that played for the World Baseball Classic is like Michael Jordan, but I remember him saying that his proudest moment was to win a gold medal for the team in the Olympics in '92.
Yeah.
I don't know, to do it for truthfully, I think winning one for your country, I think, is be big. It'd be huge. As much as the World Series is it's an every year thing, but what are you talking? Every 4 years,
I think it's every 3 years.
Every 3 years for the World Baseball Classic, but you're representing your team, your country, and not the city. Yeah. I'd go with the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, I think I'd go Baseball Classic, Olympics, thing, because you're representing your country. I mean, unless I'm all about the money, then okay, because I can get more negotiation. Be like, oh, see, I led my team to the World Series. Oh, I led my country to the Baseball Classic. Might play a little bit of factor, but again, coming together, with your country, I think is more of an honor. And I've heard I've actually heard a lot of people say that winning the Olympics or winning the Baseball Classic or some kind of award for representing their country is much more than what they do in their league. So, Chris, you brought it up. What do you think?
I
think probably winning the World Baseball Classic would be, the top one, only because it only happens every 3 years, and you're playing for your country, your national pride, and that would probably rank high enough.
And speaking of Baseball Classic, because we did not talk about it, the finals were 3-4 days ago, last weekend maybe. Man, what a showdown! Now we got to end it with Ohtani versus Trout. Tim, what do you think of that final game there for the championship?
You had the two perfect teams to go against each other. You've got such a powerhouse team from Asia with Japan. Japan has such a love for the game. You've got the United States, who's the home of baseball, but you've got the two biggest names in baseball facing each other on the last at bat for the possibility to win for your country. You couldn't have. Hollywood have told you, this is what you want to do, but nobody would have believed you. And I think it was perfect. I think that was what the networks who had put on the games really wanted, was Ohtani Trout. But I don't think they would have ever expected Ohtani Trout in the last inning of the last game, with the game on the line. I don't think anybody would have written that script, and I think it was an amazing game. Period.
Yep, Chris.
It was almost like it was scripted, but not scripted. I mean, you couldn't end, the World Baseball Classic after 4 or 5 years because of COVID, the way it did. It was a good way to return back to the event. and to end it.
Yeah. I was just looking at the ninth inning here. So it was a 3-2 game going into the ninth. Ohtani comes in and pitches. And again, I don't know how the Angels, and I get you don't want to overwork the guy, but we all know that pitchers pitch bullpen sessions in between their start.
Yeah.
Why not bring him into relief in the ninth inning? I don't know why. Let him start every 5 to 6 days, pitch him in a bullpen session every other day. I don't know.
Could you see that where all of a sudden he wins that Ohtani does that, where Ohtani goes in, pitches on his normal day,
Yep.
and then on like day 3 and 4 and 5, he pitches as a closer.
Yeah, no
And he ends up winning. And think about it. He wins the Cy Young. Then he turns around and wins the reliever of the year.
Yeah.
Could you see that with him? He
honestly,
could do it.
If that was to happen, and let's say he gets 10 to 12 victories, and then he turns around and has 20 saves, you cannot tell me he's not MVP.
And I bet the ground.
And again, if that was to happen, and Ohtani's a free agent this year, and he hits whatever he hit last year, you can't tell me teams are not going to just give him a blank check and just say how many years you want and how much money do you want. I mean, and it's not going to.
You tell me the price. I write it down.
Yeah, everybody's going to be worried about the workload and stuff, but
yeah,
I don't get it. I mean, yeah, you pitch him day 1, you give him the second day off. You let him pitch his bullpen sessions 3 or 4. You give him the 5th day off, unless you go to a 6-man rotation. Then you let him pitch another day in relief. Man, so I'm looking at the final inning here. Ohtani comes in. He gets the first 2 guys to fly out. Then he walks O'Neill. Then they pitch run with White. Betts grounds into. Wait, that makes no sense.
What?
Wait. No bar. Must have got a hit. Okay. I get it now. Okay. So we got 2 hits, got 2 guys on. They walk. No, that doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't make
They get
sense.
a double play. They get a double
Yeah,
play.
they got a double play in there. So there's 2 outs.
A man on.
With the guy on. Yeah. So it
Should
must
be a
have
guy
been,
on third.
Okay. So 2 guys on. So double play. And then Trout comes up. Like we said, Hollywood could not have wrote the script any better. And I tell you what, the 2 fastballs that he blew by Trout looked, guys, I know everybody says Trout's the face of baseball, but I don't see it.
I think it's Ohtani.
And then he throws a slider or something that's still 100 miles an hour outside. And then he comes back and throws an 85-mile-an-hour changeup. And again, Trout looks overmatched. And gets him on a swinging strike, which is a stat said that he's only had 3 swinging strikes in major leagues in 6,000 at bats or something. But he looked overmatched. And Chris, you are right. I think Ohtani's the face of baseball right now.
It kind of feels like, because it's Ohtani this, Ohtani that.
Well, you hear about that, but I mean, he just went up against a guy who is self-proclaimed, but everybody proclaims as the face of baseball, and he overmatched him. So, and guys, I don't know about you, but I wish my team had 2 superstars like this on my team. I mean,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what we would do.
Everybody would.
Yeah.
We wouldn't screw that up. We've got all 3 of us have teams that wouldn't screw that up.
Oh,
Minnesota probably would screw it up, but I mean, Texas. I mean, yeah, you guys definitely would.
Well, you guys Texas had A-Rod, so they know how not to screw things up.
Yeah.
And we had Pujols too, I think, at one point.
Yeah, I think you had Pujols.
No, Texas never had Pujols, did they?
I thought we did.
No.
If it was, it might have been for a cup of coffee.
But yeah,
Oh, no,
that's something we should talk about too. I mean, teams that had great players. I mean, we could always go back to the 94 Expos. I mean, look at the team they had.
Oh
That
my
might be
God. How that team never won a World Series is beyond me.
No, he only played in St. Louis.
He's thinking
I
of
think it's
Sosa.
Pudge.
You're
he's-
thinking of Sammy Sosa. That's what you're thinking of. Yeah, Sammy Sosa spent.
Sosa was drafted by the Rangers.
Was he drafted by the Rangers or the White Sox?
He was drafted by the Rangers. He was drafted by the Rangers,
Okay.
and then he was traded from the Rangers to the White Sox for George Bell.
That's right. Yeah. So, all right, guys. We went a little bit extra innings, but that's what baseball's all about. So,
We don't.
Tim?
Who's our man on second?
who's our man in second? We'll go Dirks on second. So
Okay.
we ain't scoring because he's a Mets fan.
Oh,
So, all right, Tim. Final thoughts.
I'm excited. National holiday starts March 30th.
Yep.
Let's get it
It's
started.
national.
I'm all. It should be. It should be. I'm telling you, banks should close. Cats and dogs should get together. Schools should
I'm gonna
shut
take the
down.
kids out of school to go.
Dads used to take kids out of school, and kids didn't understand why. And dads were going, "We've been
Yep.
doing this since I was a little kid." I think
Field trip.
that should a field trip. Yeah, I think the school should do it. I really think the school should pay for it and go.
There you go.
But yeah, excited. Stay tuned. We got a lot of great stuff. Got C2C Rankum on Tuesday. Beyond the Ropes. One of these days, in between the ropes, one of these days, I'm going to come on the show because yowie wowie.
There you go.
Because I am the prime oos and I am the head janitor of the Firefly Funhouse.
The head janitor. All right, Chris. How about you?
Thanks everyone for watching and tuning in. Baseball season's this week. Stay with Coast to Coast with a lot of great shows and a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly. Stay with us. I don't know about you guys, but my bracket's wrecked, so I'm looking forward to baseball season now.
I've got one team. I've got one team in both brackets.
I have
Team.
zero Final
I've
Four
got-
teams.
I
lost
when I lost.
So to me, the
Gonzaga. I got Gonzaga on both brackets, and they don't make it to the finals. They don't make the finals.
So for me, it's move on. March Madness. Here comes the MLB. Of course, that always leads up to Little League World Series down the road, which is another fun time of mine. Like Tim said, C2C Rankum on Tuesday, Between the Ropes on Tuesday. In less than a month, Chris, Cougar football starts, so we can't wait for
It's
that.
coming
And-
quick.
yeah, so April 22nd, the Oregon Cougars kick off their season. So, and we got plenty of shows coming. I know we're working a Eugene League for cornhole. We're gonna have a show for that. We got another semi team we're talking into getting on. Got a lot of stuff coming on. So with that being said, we'll see you all next week on Deck. Have a good one.